So this is Debbie Johnson, and she came to us from Texas, just moved here to help her daughter who's starting a kind of music career. But what I want to talk to you about today, besides the classes that are coming up, is just, your opportunity to be the best person you can be. That's really what THP is all about, is that you're restoring lives, transforming generations is our whole mantra. On that, you're going to have 2 different classes that are coming out. We set these at 5:30 to 6:30 so everybody could make them. The parenting one is going to be really fantastic. It's for 0 to 5. So if you're a mom, dad, plan on being a mom and dad, that parenting class is on the 11th. So make sure you sign up for that. That's 5:30 to 6:30. Again, we'll tape them all and they'll be available. Jennifer Payne, she's a principal at one of the local schools, has been a foster parent for, I don't know, she's one of our original foster parents here at Covenant. And has never had easy to work with kids, so she's got real parenting tips. I mean, real wise, how do you get your kid from being naked at school to put his clothes on, parenting tips. So make sure you come. She's super entertaining. And then she's going to do a second class on the 25th, spiritual and emotional health. So that'll be really good. Make sure you're checking those out. And then how many of you have been on our webpage and seen all the classes that we've had here in the back of your head in the video? Anybody? Good. So make sure you're taking use of that, because really that's for your own development, personal goals, your brain activity, your heart. So you're changing out who you are, right? That's the whole goal of THP. Not that you just get your DMV or get a job or have a house or doing any of those stuff. So that really you should take these 2 years and transform your mind and your heart so that you're a better person for the next generation. So it's just not about you when we think about that. So our mission, Restoring Lives, Transforming Generations, former foster youth, is really what we're talking about today. So what I want you to do is get a mental image right now of a family reunion 30 years from now. And I understand that you're in the pocket of 25 and under, so 30 years from now, everybody just sounds old like me. And but think about it. You're at a park, you're at the beach, you're somewhere that you are leading the charge on this stuff. It's not a family reunion you're participating in. It's a family reunion that you are the family. You're the person in the family that everybody's coming to hang out with and running the show. So think about that. What does it look like? Where are you at? Who's there? What are they doing? What are you doing? And now ask yourself, how are we going to get there? Because it's just not going to happen from you doing nothing the next 30 years. So if you see yourself at some nice lawn chair, people barbecuing, kids playing, kids running around, good stuff happening, people are eating your favorite food and playing the softball, whatever you see happening at that family reunion, it's not just going to happen because you wake up and breathe every day. You don't have to have all the money in the world. You don't have to have the best job, but you do have to make great choices about who you're going to spend your life with, how you're going to heal your heart from past trauma and hurts, and then who you're going to put around you. My foster son, Jovan, who's now 30-something, he said his family reunions weren't a reunion until the cops came. But that's his mental image of what a reunion looked like, because that's all he knew about, was having stuff at parks and some uncle gets drunk, somebody says something, somebody comes walking through, and there's a fight and the cops get called, right? It took us years to say, hey man, that's not a family reunion. That's what you experience, but that's not how it looks. And that doesn't mean that we have to say that you're going to get married and have 8 kids and 2 Labradors and a cat and everybody's going to get together and sing Kumbaya and roast marshmallows. I'm not talking about that. Every family has drama. What I'm saying is, how healthy do you want your family to look? And guess who's in charge of it? Everybody take their finger, just do this one exercise with me like this, and then put it right here. Okay. That's it. You're the boss. However you want your life ship to go is depending on you. So Debbie's coming in today. I met her a couple weeks back. She's mentoring a youth at Covenant, and just fell in love with her story and her attitude and her heart to find healing. And I love it. We're getting robbed. Pretty chill out. We're not getting robbed. It's not funny in Oildale, huh? Funny in Seven Oaks, but it's not funny here. But that alarm guy's here trying to fix it. You can hear he's doing a good job. But what'd you do? You go on lockdown? Look at her. She just went right to the door, lock it. But Debbie has a real heart to find healing in spirit, heart, mind because she came through. And I'll let her tell the story. But you're looking at a former foster youth right here. And pass these all over the place, please. And she's going to share her story from her heart in hopes that you can grab onto something today and learn something for your family. So that family reunion can look different years from now. I want to encourage you to do one last thing. This right here, believe it or not, this right here is a case file of someone just like you. It's that thick. This person spent 12 years inside of foster care, and that's it. But what is in here is all sorts of redacted black information. Getting this was a real hard thing to do. I would encourage each one of you to get your case file. Know who you are and what has happened. There's stuff in here she didn't even know about. She had just blocked out. But as you'll find out today, each person along our way, whether they cause trauma or drama, if we don't let go of them, we're carrying them around like a backpack full of rocks. Yes, ma'am?
Where do you get your case file?
You call the county and I will get you a step-by-step process. LaBrelle did it as well. LaBrelle, can you share a little bit of your experience in getting your case file?
It was a rather simple process. I think the most difficult part about it is dealing with the Department of Human Services. It's like a ton of people there. But if you guys ever remember like doing visits or anything, it's at that end where you would go to do visitation. You fill out a simple form, and you do have to pay for it. Someone else got their case file and it was really thick. I think theirs was like almost $40. Mine was not, as complex, and so it was a lot smaller.
I'll pay for it.
I think
it's that important.
Yeah.
I'll flat out pay for it.
Yeah. And mine was, like I said, mine was a lot less complex and it was smaller. So I think mine was like $14 or something like that. But basically, you just put in that request. You pay for it, you give them a few days. Like I said, mine wasn't that complex because if you have siblings or someone else, they have to take the time to redact, other people's personal information. So like my siblings, I obviously was able to put 2 and 2 together, but they redact everyone else's personal information so that you don't have access to it, and then they'll call you to come pick it up and you sign for it, and then that's it.
And I know I'm putting you on the spot. Share a little bit about how that learning process helped you as an adult.
Honestly, it helped in a lot of ways because I just turned 26, and so for me, it was kind of like, obviously I turned 18, I emancipated, and then I came into THP Plus a little later, started working here, but throughout that time, I had a lot of things that were kind of like a void, a lot of unanswered, questions and things like that. And so for the first time, I think that I got that when I was 22 or 23 when I first started working here. So for the first time, I didn't have my birth mom or anyone else kind of, telling me lies about what happened or, what she did, what she tried to do, what she couldn't do. It was all factual. It was all, written by, a social worker. And like I said, for the first time, I feel like I had real answers so that I could move on with my life, so that, I can, now be a parent myself and just kind of get on with my life. There was no more wondering, did this happen, did this happen?
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, LaBrelle. And just, we want you to be aware, it's kind of hard to think through your life with the idea of this whole past is something now I'm trying to move on from, but we don't want to realize where we came from. And so you've got to mix all that in together. And that's why I'm so happy Debbie's here today. So I don't want to take any more of her time. I'm going to slide to the back. Please, please, please sign up for classes today. Make sure you do that, especially if you're on my caseload. I'm tough now. No, I'm just kidding. But make sure you sign up for those classes. They're going to be really good. Make sure you're going on the web learning about the goals and development stuff. You have the handouts. I'll throw some pins in here. Come to class with a pen. Come ready to learn. This is Debbie Johnson. Enjoy your time. I'll be in the back. There you go.
Good morning. I was not expecting so many people. I'm very excited. This is the first time I've ever shared my story publicly. I've shared it in mentoring. I'm not nervous. I'm very excited about it. I spent a few days well, I've spent most of my life writing these things down, just writing them and wondering, and you know, all the things that we do. And so I got the opportunity to come here today, and I said, finally I'm gonna write something down and tell someone. So y'all are gonna be the first people I ever told. So this is my rough draft, and I'm gonna kind of work off of it. They have some pins coming so that you can write on yours, okay? But what happens is, we go to our first castle, right? These are the people that we're told they're gonna take care of us, they're gonna love us. And what happens? Over here, we get to go to their dungeon, right? Their place, it's full of nasty things, it comes out at us, hurts us, right? Then we move on, we'll go to our next dungeon. We're hoping for a nicer place this time, right? So whenever you get your pen, you put in your dungeon, you put in the mark that you want to put in. Because I don't know if you went at 7, I don't know if you went at 3 months old, and when you were made aware. So your mark may not look like mine. You make it your mark, okay? So then we went on to the next one. But in the next one, we didn't just find out about their dungeon. We took some of their dungeon with us, right? So we got a little bit bigger dungeon. Then we went to the next one, their castle. But in the castle, there's a dungeon. And so we not only took this person's stuff, and depending on our age, we got some of our own attitude and things mixed in as well. And then we went on to the next one, and so on, and so forth. And we're being called names, we're being hurt, and all of the things that goes with that, right? So then what happens? It finally happens. We're like, we want the beautiful place. We keep hearing, we're going to go to this nice place. We're gonna have toys and food and fun and all of these things. And our heart says, could it be? How could it be? This is wonderful. Finally, my lucky day, right? And what happens? This is our sunshine. We didn't have a yellow, sorry. So we get fun and food and rules. We're not used to rules, not real rules that are productive. We get toys, hugs. People want to hug us. Smiles. People are smiling at us. How strange is that? We have to do chores, but they're not the chores that say, go out and mow the grass and clean this and do that. You know, we're not a maid there. And then what? There's laughter. We're so enamored with strangeness. It's almost like we're on Mars. Can anyone relate? Yeah. So our heart's pounding. It's just pounding out of our chest. This is our heart right here. And these things are touching it. They're touching it. And this is our inner heart right here. The one we've learned to mask up and hide. And it's pounding and it says, haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? I'm stupid. I'm lazy. I'm ugly. Nobody wants me. Stop trying to hug me. Stop trying to love me. Stop trying to laugh with me. Stop trying to tickle me. What do you want? What do you want from me? Am I right? Yeah. We didn't get an opportunity to draw this one. So what happens here is we say, oh, no, no, no. This is way too uncomfortable. This is not fun. This is not happy. I need to get out of here at all costs. So what do? We do something that makes us have to move to the next home. But the next castle is our own because we've gotten a taste. We've seen this. We don't quite understand it. We know we want it, but we don't know how to exist there. It's so strange. And so the next castle is my castle, Debbie's castle, your castle, right? And in that castle, that's where we put our mask on. And perhaps we've already done it here, but we want to put it on really tight here because we've gone undercover. We want to figure this out while maintaining that. we're exhausted. We are exhausted. So I found the key. I found the key. I know it's out there. I've got the door. I know where it is. I can't exist there. So that's our exclamation point. We're happy. But then we've got the other. Can I have that? Is that meant for me? How do I get that? I have to fake it till I make it, right? We're gonna fake it till we make it. We're gonna smile here. We're gonna look nice there. We're gonna make other people comfortable so that they think we're somewhere that we're not. Yeah. So I say to you that your mask is yours, but you can't live in it forever and expect to get free from it. You can't. And so what I want to present to you is fact. Fearless, alive, and tenacious. And I looked up those words. Sorry, I'm on my phone. Looked up those words, and I found out, I looked them up for me, but I want to share them with you. We all know what alive means, right? So even though we're over in this dungeon, we've experienced this one. We're 18, we've made it out alive, we've done something, we've survived, right? Because we're alive to get this, right? So we know what alive means. It's having life, not dead or inanimate, still in existence, right? So we did that. Sorry, let me find my F. So let me go on to tenacious. Tenacious is tending to keep a firm hold of something. Anybody doing that? Anybody keeping a hold of their castles? It's ingrained in you. You're keeping a hold of it because it's comfortable. It's comfortable, but you've realized it's not going to get you here, right? So it's fast clinging, not readily relinquishing a position or principle, right? But I'm here to tell you, you can still be fat, but those same exact words are faithful, they're available, and they're teachable. So the same way that you see these connotations as negative, those exact same words can be put under faithful, available, and teachable. So if you take your perception of you as being fearless, you are fearless. You've gone through so much. You're still alive, and you're still tenacious, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here, right? Right? So you're faithful. You're available. You're teachable. And that's what you need to concentrate on, not the negative part of you. The exact same thing, but it's positive. You can do those in all different types of ways. Diligence, all different types of ways. So I want to share a little bit about my story so you can understand a little bit more of my journey. It's a tiny little bit, it will seem like a lot. So those were conditions of your life through no fault of your own. However, they're no longer the position of your life. Those are conditions. These castles are conditions of your life, okay? But they're not the position of your life because you don't live there anymore. The position of your life is the way you woke up today, right? Your own home, driving your own car, working your own job, whatever that position is, you know what it is. So the definition of condition, again, is not necessarily because you need it, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but because I need it. The circumstances affecting the way in which people live or work, especially with regard to their safety or well-being, like a harsh working and living condition. Words that mean the same are your circumstances, your surroundings, your environment, your situation, your setup, your habitat. You lived in an appalling condition. I lived in an appalling condition. To walk out of the conditions of the past, you need to do several things. And this isn't on my paper, but I just wanted to say, on top of what Mr. Martin said today, we're people and we want to get to the same goals as someone that's going to go to college and 30 years from now sit on the beach with their family, okay? And it doesn't just happen because we want it to, but it doesn't happen that way for them either. They read books, they talk to people, they learn, they grow, they do it too. They just didn't have it at their foundation. I mean, we don't have it at our foundation like they did. Does that make sense to you? And so you have to go and get that for yourself. They have to do it too. I always thought, well, you know, they have this and they have that, so they just turned out that way. No, they had to go get it too.
They didn't have a bumpy road. Right. You had a bumpy road, so you have to fix your own road, make your own way.
Right. So, to walk out of the conditions of the past, you have to do several things. Some are easier than others. It is a process. Maybe you've heard Rome wasn't built in a day. It took years of conditioning for you to become the ways you are. But you're in the driver's seat now. You're in the driver's seat. Conditions change by the position you choose, which also means your perception, how you perceive things. So we can perceive that we're fearless, but we can also say we're faithful because we will fearlessly help someone. Am I correct? That's faithfulness. We can perceive that we're alive, and we are alive, but aren't we available? Aren't we available? When somebody needs something, aren't you available? You're not just alive. Tenacious. We will fight for the underdog because we've been the underdog. Am I right? You know, that makes you teachable. You're teachable. What you give is who you are. So, your perception. The ultimate position to be in is with Jesus. With his great love, you can get free indeed and not just free. And whenever I share my story, you'll see the difference. For many years, you know, I was only free. But then 3 years ago, I gave my life to Jesus, and now I'm free indeed. And I'm gonna tell you my story. Free indeed, what does that mean? It means you're not rejecting one set of circumstances just to be entrapped by another. You're not rejecting one set of circumstances just to be entrapped by another, okay? You're truly free. And an example of that is baby talk. I hope that all of you can relate to this. Whenever you have a baby and you start teaching them how to talk, and you have to choose if you're going to let them do baby talk and if you're going to encourage it and if you're going to teach it. But when they go to school, does anybody in here talk baby talk? No. To re-teach them how to speak, because what they had or what they're doing is not it's not productive. So we don't want to go half the way or live in a half truth. We want to go all the way and be productive. We don't want to just read the first part of the book. We want to read the whole book and find out the whole thought and the whole idea and the whole story, right? Okay. So baby talk's cute, but it's not long-term productive. Getting free. One of the things that I did to get free, and keep in mind I wasn't a Christian at the time, okay? And I didn't have anyone helping me either. I looked back at all that mess where I came from, and I said, I need to forgive them. I need to let them off the hook. I've probably experienced everything or most of what y'all have experienced. You can look back and say, these people are hurting, they're abused. They're abused, but they didn't choose like you do not to be abusive. Okay? Realize I can't do anything about the past. I can't go back there and change it. You can't fix it. And that includes things you've done. You can't go back and fix them either. They're there. Number 2, to stop judging them. Resolve that they are wrong and they couldn't do better. It's so hard. I know. You give them your compassion. You don't have to sit there. You do it, you give them compassion, you move forward. Okay? You don't waste your life going back to try and fix them, help them, save them, love them. None of those things. Okay? I know this is really hard for anyone to hear, and I get it. You do it because you can. You can do it. I've done it. If I can do it, you can do it. You have it inside of you to do it. They wouldn't, and that's their problem. They have to sit in their mess. But because you're human and you're not an animal like they were, you can do it. And I know you're thinking you must be crazy. You don't know what they did to me. But I do. Believe me, I do. I know. You have to take responsibility for what you've done. What have I done? You know, maybe over here in the 5th castle, you started doing stuff. You know, you started fighting back. You started whatever. You know, I have my stuff too. You have to forgive yourself for that because no one showed you any better. Just like Martin was saying, what his son thought was a family reunion, he didn't know any better, right? So we have to make that our goal to get to know better. So today is a new day. You get to walk in it freely by letting go. You make a choice every day. Am I going to sit over here in their mess, because that's their stuff, or am I going to make my stuff okay? That's your choice every single day. And you have to choose it. If you don't choose it, it'll choose you, right? Forgiveness and being non-judgmental are processes, but they will bring you freedom. It's not for the abuser. It's not for them. You're not setting them free. You're getting you free, okay? They stay in their condition, but you move into your position. So you don't sit in your condition anymore. You move into your position of freedom and free indeed. So here's a little bit about my story. And in my story, it'll correlate to what I just told you. And this is something that I lived, and it just happened. I grew up without my mom until age 14. I met her and started living with her the same day. We went through some stuff. It was completely obvious to me that she didn't want me there with her. I knew I'd have a place to stay, but that was it. I was messed up emotionally, and she couldn't help me. I watched her and had compassion for her. I wasn't her baby that she looked and longed for so many years. My dad stole us. But I always wanted to know why she just couldn't love me. I'm very lovable. She adored my little brother. In fact, she worshiped him. She still does. Sadly, her God, little G, turned out to be just a human with a lot of problems and hurts. She refuses to relinquish him, living in the past when necessary to when he was a little boy. That's how she makes it through who he is today. Hey, whatever it takes, she's trapped in her own makings. That's what these people are doing. We're going to leave them because we don't want to be like them, right? The year something changed in me, I let her off the hook. Years later, which was just 3 years ago, Jesus helped me forgive myself for needing her so much. I was a single mom at the time, worshiping my own child, as this was the only love I had ever seen. I really needed help with a sitter because I wanted to go into the big city and make real money. Then I could be important somewhere, somehow. I invited my grandfather, my mom's dad, to come over for the weekend. I wanted to ask him to keep my daughter, my beautiful princess. She meant everything to me. Keeping her safe, to have an unscathed childhood, meant everything to me, everything. I had a 2-bedroom townhome, so there was plenty of room for him. The first day he was there, he asked me to lay with him so he could just fondle me. I couldn't breathe. I took him back to my mom's knowing he had molested her. I never wanted to see him ever again. I never spoke another word to him, not even on the ride back to my mom's. And he died shortly after that. I never told my mom what happened or that I knew. I was horrified on so many levels. My precious angel, my baby doll, my daughter, may have been molested by him. You know, had he stayed and done that. This man, my grandfather, my flesh and blood, I thought he knew God. He was my only representation of God. God in heaven. My mother was masked to the gills very early on. He stole her innocence. She wasn't a baby machine who got pregnant at 16. She was looking for a way out. I had misjudged her wrongly. My compassion for my mother was overwhelming. I began rethinking her about her through these eyes of compassion. A few years later, I told her I understood some things and I loved her dearly. That I see her through her pain and not through her offenses. I forgave her. I held her so tight in my heart, even to the point of my own injury, because I didn't know Jesus. My mom never apologized. Never. She didn't change. She only got worse, actually. She made herself unavailable and unfindable to me. I was at least 32 by now. My secret dream was for my mom to love me. This is unobtainable and not reality. I have finally moved on from my hope. However, I do want my mother to be in heaven with Jesus and I. But that's another story. Forgiveness and compassion does not come easily or naturally. It takes real work, but it brings great pleasure to life. A huge weight, one by one, will come off of you. The more you forgive, give passion, and stop judging, the easier it is to do those things. This really moves you to a new condition. It's freer, and life is good here. But to truly know freedom, the kind that abandons, you have to know Jesus. I just want to stop right here and tell you I love Jesus with all my heart. He's my very best friend. And you know, you may not all feel that way, but this is the reflection of my life and what the Lord's done for me. And it wouldn't be complete unless I shared it with you. Okay. When I forgave my mom, I had an open place to feel. And because I didn't know to feel it with Jesus, I got tangled in loving her, which I just told you about. Did y'all get that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That caused more abandonment issues. The process continued, the pain continued, but the time the pain was leading me somewhere to true freedom. It was leading me to Jesus. He freely and willingly took on our human form and nature. He forgave you already for every bad thing you have ever done or will do in the future. He is the living example of forgiveness. He gives the supernatural power by his loving works of pure kindness. He died for me and you so we can know true freedom. Forgiveness is his way, but he didn't keep it for himself. Out of his love for us, you and me, he went to death on a cross so we will be free if we believe in him repent to Him, surrender our life to Him in love and abandonment. Abandonment. I used to hate that word. I got angry, seething angry when I heard it. It is probably the most important word to you and to me. First, we were abandoned. Now we need to abandon what or who abandoned us. They abandoned us in their slaps, in their kicks, in their screaming, in their yelling. I'm just going to keep it nice. They abandoned us. They were supposed to be someone wonderful to us, but they abandoned us. I'm in my 40s, almost 50. I was raped by my adoptive father at 10. For 30 years, I could have been playing that record, playing it. Fortunately, I found Jesus 3 years ago, and I forgave him. I started forgiving him in my 30s, so almost 20 years ago, of my own strength, when I learned about forgiveness, but was totally unsuccessful. I thought over and over that it was over, but then I would be confronted with another abused child, and daggers of fire would shoot from my broken heart again. I spent at least 20 more years after becoming 18 wallowing in despair. Despair was my condition over here. Continuing to waste away over here with these gross people, skewed by torment and injustice. And I'm here to show you the better way while you're young, to support you in your efforts, to breathe truth into your lungs, extending you tools to rise up and walk every day in freedom. We have to fill ourselves with something. Consider Jesus. He was abused, abandoned, spat on, made fun of. King of kings, but he had no place to lay his head. Sound familiar? He sits at the right hand of his Father now, inviting you to be filled with his great love and all that it entails. My path of forgiveness is him, but it didn't start out that way. And so whenever I say that to you, I say, Jesus is there, and he's the ultimate way to forgiveness. And you can find forgiveness in the in-between, but it's baby talk. Does that make sense to you? That's all I have for you. Does any of that make sense to you? There's a real Lord and Savior out there. He's forgiven all of your sins. He's just waiting for you to say yes. He wants to help you. He's your best friend. If you want to know more about him, I'm going to be here. Anytime you want to talk with me, just let Martin know I'm available. This is truly a process. I wasted more than half of my life on something that happened to me when I was 10 years old. I have mourned it. I have slept with it. I have had breakfast with it. I have married with it. I've raised children with it. Don't do that. You don't need to do that. You have a position. It's different from the condition. But you're going to have to peel your mask up a little bit to see. I know that Mr. Martin wants you to go and get your records, and I think that's great. I just wasn't planning to tell you this, and I've never told anybody this, but whenever I was 40, I got cancer. I got breast cancer, and I had gone to live with my mom when I was 14 out of the adoptive place that I lived. And I found out through having cancer and needing my birth certificate, she never changed my name. She had my original birth certificate, so she never changed. So you know, whenever you get adopted, they take and they lock up your old files. Well, because she was my natural mom, she had my natural birth certificate. But legally, my name was never changed. And I just can't tell you how shocking that was to me. Very shocking. And so I just want to encourage you in getting your file, that you're going to read shocking things. And you don't have to let them seep into the very, you know, crevices of your heart. But you can know them, you can deal with them as you mature, you can deal with them, okay? But you're gonna find out in life, there's things that are gonna deal with you. So, you know, it's better that you put the foot forward and do it. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I hope that, look at your castles and see, fill them in, you know? Do a tiny bit of work for yourself and decide to take your mask off. You know, you don't have to take it off everywhere. Just take it off with people that you trust first. Take it off when you go to counseling and you know that counselor very well. Take it off. Because healing can't happen with your mask on. Okay? You literally, your mask has fat on it, but it's fearless and alive and tenacious, but underneath it, faithful, available, and teachable. That's who you are. I promise you're there. Which one? That's all I had.
All right, do you guys have any other questions for Debbie? Any comments? Any suggestions for us? Oh my gosh, you guys wake up. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's check day and the 4th of July is tomorrow. Woo! No? All right. Okay. You guys are giving me no love. Okay. All right. Well, we definitely want to thank Debbie, you know, everyone that comes here to either teach a class, tutor a class, you know, amongst a lot of other things. They do volunteer their time. So if we can just give her a hand and thank her one more time. Okay, guys. So, do you have something else?
Yeah. I just really want to, you know, the reason why this was so important, I'm gonna stand right behind you, important to me is that I have in my career done a lot of things. And I will tell you this, that when I was, for 8 years, pastor, right? This is where people come to you when somebody died, when somebody wants to marry, when they're going through a trouble, whatever. I cannot tell you the number of times that I encountered a man or a woman in their 30s or 40s or 50s, and they were carrying around baggage from their past and not dealing with it. And all the junk they went through, right, from your age, 25, until they got healthy, didn't need to happen. And this class is so important to me, what she shared, because it doesn't just happen overnight. Junk in, junk out. You eat buffets and McDonald's every day and slurp down 2 liters of sodas, you're gonna have a result in your body. Your emotions and your mind and your spirit, same thing. And guess what? You're also gonna attract people that are not good. So I think this is super important. Man, you guys can get jobs, you can get your bank account, you can get all your stuff lined out. But who you are as a person, that's what's going to change that reunion in 30 years. And I'm just really thankful that our new friend shared from her heart that experience, because it's not easy to talk about yourself. It's not easy to say what happened to you. It's not easy to say what healing process you went through and all the junk. I don't know if she mentioned this, but she's opening herself up to hanging out, mentoring, doing a one-on-one thing, and sharing any of the things she's learned to help you get to that next level, either as a small group or individually. So if that's something that you're interested in, have a chat with me. But Debbie, I really want to thank you for sharing. And
I've been waiting my whole life, ever since I've known that, you know, I was going to do this. It's been like 10 years. I've been drawing and writing and writing and drawing. Just,
Well, it's good
it's
stuff.
such
I mean,
a pleasure.
I'm around this
appreciate
stuff all the time, and your castle theory and building stuff up. So it's all good. It's all real, you know. And I know a lot of people. Listen, you don't have to be in foster care to live this way. I know a lot of people that their dads told them they're stupid, they're ugly, they're fat, can't chew gum and walk at the same time. You don't have to. Not everybody that you think had a normal life had a normal life. Everybody has stuff. But we've all got to heal from. Otherwise, we're taking it to the next level. So again, one more time, thank you so much for sharing.